to Acharya Ashish ji, who has been showering us for last 2 weeks with spiritual wisdom. And now please join all of you in welcoming the Yajmans of today, Jyoti ji's family, Srimati Subhashini ji. She always seems to me an embodiment of love, care, and sacrifice, self-denial. And her sanskars are well reflected in Jyoti ji. Whenever I meet her, I know her for last couple of years. Whenever I meet her, every time I meet her, she is always more caring, more respectful, more humble, and more a better expression of sweetness towards everyone. And I think that's the way of life. That wherever we are, it does not matter in which state we are currently. Our tomorrow should be better than our today, or our today should be better than our yesterday. We should keep lifting ourselves, keep progressing ourselves, keep moving up in ourselves, keep moving ourselves up. That's the human nature, that everyone wants to be a little more than where he is currently, be it in terms of wealth. I mean, it depends upon what the idea of person, how he looks towards life in terms of wealth, in terms of power, in terms of spirituality, in terms of prosperity. So he wants to be little more than where he is currently. If we have come to this earth like any other creature, the life would have been simple enough: eating, sleeping, procreating, and dying. But when we come as human beings, these survival instincts do not satisfy us. They do not make us content. We need to look, we need to become a better expression of ourselves. We need to experience that consistent happiness. With the invent of science and technology, I think we are the most comfortable and convenient generation. We have all kinds of materialistic comforts, but we also need to look into ourselves. Are we more happy generation as well? Are we more peaceful and joyful generation as well? If not, then the way this science, we have engineered our outside world, we have changed the very face of this planet with science and technology. We need to engineer ourselves internally too. We need to look inwards. We need to move upward. We need to analyze and introspect ourselves and use such processes, such techniques, such tools, so that we can make our internal organs function better. My mind, my intellect work in favor of me. May they take me forward in my life. May they make my life happier. So now, with due respect to time, this yajna is also one of the acts to inspire us to become more and more noble, to give our offerings. This is the physical aspect of this yajna. The inherent theme of this yajna is to take the spirit of dedication, selflessness, non-attachment in our day-to-day life. Idan namam, when we offer in it, we say idan namam, this is not mine. Whatever I'm offering for everybody's well-being. In the same way, our same routine actions, if we do with the feeling of yajna, with the sentiment of yajna, that I do not have any worldly expectations, whatever I'm doing, I am offering it as my offering, as my ahuti to the people around me, then our life becomes yajna. So let's please you all take little water and welcome Jay as well. I don't know much about you. Welcome to the Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple. Take little water in your right hand. We will do Sankalp part. Jyoti ji, you also take. Your name Santosh ji. Please take. Okay. Take little water in your right arm and repeat after me. Om Avasoho Sadane Sida. Om Tatsat Adityasya Dakshinayane Varsha Ritau आषाढ़ मासे शुक्ल पक्षे चतुर्थ्यां तिथौ अद्य अस्मिन् शुभ स्थाने आत्म कल्याणार्थं सुख शांति समृद्धि अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं इदं देवयज्ञं कारयितुं भवतीं ऋत्विक रूपेण प्रणीमहे. Let's drop the water. You can drop the water, and yeah, you can drop it there. So now let's sit straight. Before starting this Dev Yajna, let's seek the blessings of God. We offer our prayers, our worship to Him. So let's sit straight, close our eyes gently. We will chant Om 3 times. Let's inhale, and while exhaling, slowly we will chant Om. Om. Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. In this mantra, we pray to God to bless us with an equanimous, a steady, and discriminating intellect. Next, we are going to chant the mantras of adoration, of prayers, and offering our worship to Him. One mantra, Sano Bandhur Janita. It says, Sano Bandhu, He is our closest companion. Janita, He is the creator of this universe. Vidhata, He is the sustainer of this universe and the dispenser of the fruits of our actions. Dhamani Ved Bhuvanani Vishwa, He knows all the universe abodes, all the stars, galaxies, the entire cosmos. Yatra Deva, in whose company, in whose arrangement, Dev Log, those divine learned persons who became enlightened after the death of this physical body, Amrit Anashanaha, enjoy the prolonged bliss, enjoy his prolonged bliss, Dhamanna Dhairayanta, and move freely in the third abode of that God, that is salvation, emancipation, liberation, free from birth and death. So this God, whose blessings are countless, whose glory is unparalleled, let's bow down to him, aspire for his company, to commune with him, and follow his injunctions by all intents and purposes. With these prayers, with these commitments, let's chant the mantras. Om Vishwani Deva Savita Duritani Parasuva Yadbhadram Tanna Asuva Om Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatah Patirekasi Sadadhar Prithivim Dyamute Mam Tasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema Om Ya Atmada Valada Yasya Vishva Upasate Prashisham Yasya Devaha Yasya Chayamritam Yasya Mrityuh Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema Om Yah Pranato Nimishato Mahitvaika Itraja Jagato Babhuva Yah Ishe Asya Dvipadasya Tushpadaha Tasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema Om Yena Deorugra Prithivi Chadreda Yena Swahasabhitam Yena Nakaha Yo Antarikshe Rajaso Vimanaha Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema Om Prajapate Natvadetanyannyo Vishvajatani Paritavabhuva Yadkamaste Juhumasanno Astu Vayam Syama Patayorayina Om Sano Bandhurjanita Savidhata Dhamani Veda Bhuvanani Vishwa Yatra Deva Amrita Manashana Striti Dhamanna Dhairayanta Om Agnenaya Supatharaye Asman Vishva Nideva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodhasmajuhuranameno Bhuyishante Namauktim Vidhema Iti Ishwar Stuti Prarthano Pasana Mantraha Atha Achmanam. We will take water, little water in the right palm. We'll sip the water 3 times with the 3 mantras after chanting Swaha. Om Amrito Pastarnamasi Swaha. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Again. Om Satyam Yashah Shrimai Shri Shrayatam Swaha. Wash your right palm little bit with water. Then take water in your left palm. Yeah, you can wash. Just wash it off. Then take little water in your left palm. Yeah, you can wipe if you want. Yeah, now take little water in your left palm. With these 2 fingers of your right hand, dip it in water and we will touch our body parts with the water. Om Vangma Asyastu. Om Nasorme Pranoastu. Om Akshnor-me Chakshurastu. Om Karnyor-me Shrotramastu. Om Bhavor-me Balamastu. Om Urvorma Ojoastu. Om Arishtani Mengani Tanustanva me Sahasantu. All over your body. Now you can wipe your hand if you want. And next we are going to light the lamp. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. Take this. Yeah, it just leave that off. Take this in your hand and light it with this fire along with the mantra. Om Bhurvubah Swadyo Deva Bhumna Prithivi Vavarna Tasyaste Prithivi Deva Yajani Pristhe Agni Manna Damanna Dhyaya Dadhe. Now offer it in Havan Kund. Just keep it straight downward. Now let's join our hands. Om Udbuddha Swate Pratijagriti Vamishta Murte Sansrije Khamayancha Asmin Sadaste Adhutarasmin Vishve Devaya Jamanashasidata. Next we will offer these wooden fire stick one by one. Om Ayanta Mahatma Jata Vedasene Swasvati Bhavadhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nana Tena Sami Thaya Swaha. Now I'll chant two mantras. At the end of second mantra, we will open the next mantra. Om Samidhagrim Dovasya Takritae Bodhayata Asmin Havya Juhotana Swaha Idamagne Dannamama. Om Susamidhaya Shochi Shekritam Divram Juhodana Agnaye Jata Vedase Swaha. Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Dannamama. Now with this fourth month, we will offer this third Samhita. Om Tantva Samithirangiro Kritena Vardhayamasi Brihacho Jaya Veshya Swaha. Idam Agnay Angirase Dannamama. Next, we are going to give 5 ghee offerings in a row with the same mantra. Om Ayanta Mahatma Jata Vedasene Dhasva Chetha Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nana Tena Samedhaya Swaha. Idam Agnay Jata Vedase Dannamama. Everyone keep chanting Swaha. If not the entire month, and it's good if you chant the entire month along with me. And Swaha, we again and again say Swaha. One of the meaning of Swaha is that I will assimilate, I will imbibe in myself these virtues, and these commitments for my prayers to get fulfilled. So every time we say Swaha. Om Ayanta Idhatma Jata Vedasene Dhasva Vardhasva Chetha Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nana Tena Samedhaya Swaha Idamagnay Jata Vedase Danna Mama Om Ayanta Idhatma Jata Vedasene Dhasva Vardhasva Chetha Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nana Tena Samedhaya Swaha Idamagnay Jata Vedase Danna Mama Om Ayanta Idhatma Jata Vedasene Dhasva Vardhasva Chetha Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nana Tena Samedhaya Swaha Idamagnay Jata Vedase Danna Mama Om Ayanta Idhatma Jata Vedasene Dhasva Vardhasva Chetha Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nana Tena Samedhaya Swaha Idamagnay Jata Vedase Danna Mama. Next, we are going to sprinkle the water around the Havan Kund. After the first mantra, we will sprinkle from that corner up to this Deepak. Om. Yeah, take, is that lota here? Om Adite Numanyasva. Yeah, in a straight line. Okay. From that corner in a straight line till this point. Yeah. Om Anumate Numanyasva. Om Sarasvatya Numanyasva. After this mantra, we will start from this corner and we'll go all around. Om, after the mantra. Om Deva Savitaha Prasuva Yajam Prasuva Yajapatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharva Ketahu Ketannaha Punatu Vachaspati Vacham Naha Swadatu. Same way as before. Four key offerings. First one in a straight line towards your left over the samina. After that one, Om Ghee. Agnaye Swaha. Yeah, in a straight line over the samina. Right? Yeah, in a straight line. Yeah. Next, towards your right shoulder in a straight line over the samina. Oh, yeah. Om Somaya Swaha. Idam Somaya Idanna Mama. Next to in the middle. Om Prajapataye स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये तन्नमः ॐ इन्द्राय स्वाहा idam indraya idam namama. Next we will give offerings of samagri as well, this herbal mixture as well. Om so along with ghee you will keep offering ghee. Oh yes, along with swaha. Om Suryo Jyoti Surya Swaha. Om Suryo Varcho Jyotirvarchah Swaha. Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Given sufficient amount, that's fine. Om Sajurdeven Savitra Sajurushasendраvatya Dushanah Suryo Vetu Swaha. Om Agnir Jyotiragni Swaha. Om Agnir Varcho Jyotirvarchah Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Sajurdevena Savitra Sajuratrendраvatya Jushano Agnirvetu Swaha. And try to spread it over all the samita if possible. Om Bhurbhuva Om Bhuratnaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Agne Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvayave Panaya Swaha. Idam Vayave Panaya Idam Namama. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swaha. Idamadityaya Vyanaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaragnivaya Vaditebhyah Prana Panavyanebhyah Swaha. Idam Agnivaya Vaditebhyah Prana Panavyanebhyah Idam Namama. Om Apo Jyotirasomritam Brahma Bhurbhuvah Swarom Swaha. Om Yame Dham Devaganaha Pitarachopasate Tayama Madhyame Dhayagne Medhavinam Kuru Swaha. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasubha Yadhadram Tanna Asubha Swaha. Om Agne Naya Supadharaye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Pitpan Yuyodhasmajuhuranameno Bhuyisthante Namuktim Vidhema Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Now coming to the special mantras of today. Let's first give 4 ghee offerings. Om Bhuratnaye Swaha. Idam Agnaye Dannamama. Om Bhuvarvayave Swaha. Idam Vayave Dannamama. Om Swaradityaya Swaha. Idam Adityaya Dannamama. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaragnivaya Vaditebhyah Swaha. Idam Agnivaya Vaditebhyah Idam Namama. So next are the mantras. The first mantra is from Shantikaran, from the set of mantras which are for peaceful and harmonious life. Let's first give the offering. Om Abhayam Mitradabhayam त्रादभयं ज्ञातादभयं परोक्षात् अभयं नक्तमभयं दिवानः सर्वा आशा मम मित्रं भवन्तु स्वाहा. Now we can give Samagri as well. So this mantra says that may I become fearless from all my friends. May I become fearless from all those whom I do not know yet. May I become fearless from which is ahead of me, whether known or unknown. May I become fearless in the day, in the night, and may all the directions be friendly towards me. May I become totally fearless. So fear is that one great obstacle in our life which do not let us move full stride in our life. If we have fear in our life, one kind or the other, we restrict our life. We are not able to reach the next possibility of life. Now, if we look at the reason that why those kinds of fear in our life, either we live in our past, which is ruled by our memory, or we live in present, or we live in the imagination in the future. So fear is always about what will happen next, what will happen to me, what is going to happen next. So a very simple solution is that we cannot fix our past. I cannot fix my yesterday, but I can definitely create my tomorrow. So what I need to do, I need to make my present beautiful. I need to put all my efforts, put all my endeavors with honesty, with sincerity in the present. For example, if a child is fearful of his exams, because if he does not study all the way along, and at the end, if he keeps on delaying, and at the end, if he is not prepared, so that's definitely there would be stress and fear. Second thing is the lack of knowledge. For example, if someone has to move from one tree to another in the daytime, it is easy for him. But if we ask him to go from one tree to another in the nighttime, he may be fearful. The reason is lack of light. So similarly, when we are lacking in knowledge, when we are not sure what steps I need to take in my life, then also fear comes. So who becomes completely fearless? One who understands the true nature of the soul, of the God, of the entire universe, practices the right things, lead a virtuous life, treads on the righteous path, and continues to give his uh, right right direction, continues to move in the right direction, he becomes fearless. Now the next one. Om Sahridayam Samanasyam Avidvesham Krinomi Vaha Anyo Anyam Abhiharyata Vatsam Jatamivagnya Swaha. This mantra is from the Sukta of Amiability, Sahridayata. How we should live with affection amongst each other. How are we able to maintain a sweet and a harmonious relationship between one another? So this mantra says, give up your ego, give up the sense of superiority over others. Consider everyone to be equal. Move together in life, and how a love should be, that as a cow loves its newly born calf, the same way we should have relationships in our life. We should have the feelings and feelings of well-being towards each other. Here, what we need to understand is that no relation in this life is perfect. No relation is absolute. This is always a variable reality. We need to conduct our relations sensibly every day. If we miss, then again we need to push it further. Things do not happen by itself. Between a relation, when it when it blossoms to its maximum, when one is ready to fall for that, when one is ready to die for that, that means becoming unconditional. Rather than looking at the benefits, what I am getting from another, what uh, rather than focusing more on others, what kind of person I am, how I am contributing, how rightful actions I am making. That's all what makes a relationship a strong, uh, then happens a strong bond between the two people. And a relationship is always formed with the idea that when two or more than two people, when they work together, they support each other and they come together rather than competing, rather than putting each other down. So we have that accordance in our heart, we have that unanimity in our mind, and may we move together. And in the due course of time, so there is one last mantra, that is tomorrow is the Independence Day of America. So we will give 1 month. This is again a Vedic prayer in which we pray to God to bless the nation with all kinds of wealth, with the people, with the generous and noble people who spread knowledge, with the people who rule and administer the nation, with the right kind of people who fight and protect the nation, with the with the women who lay the foundation of the next generation, with the rains, with the healthy cattle, and above all, the youth, which is brave and courageous. Bless this nation with the youth, which is brave and courageous, which can take our nation further. With these prayers, let's give this offering. Om A Brahman Brahmano Brahma Varchasi Jayatam Arashtre Rajanya Shura Ishavyo Divyadhi Maharatho Jayatam Dogdridhenurvodhantvanaşuhu sabdihi purandiryosha जिष्णुरथेष्ठाः सभेयो युवास्य यजमानस्य वीरो जायताम् निकामे निकामे नः पर्जन्यो वर्षतु फलवत्यो न ओषधयः पच्यन्ताम् योगक्षेमो नः कल्पताम् स्वाहा. Now the Gayatri Mantra offering. So we have, should we go for that? Okay, we can skip that. So let's give the Swishkrit Ahuti. Take little bit in your spoon and then I'll pass it to others. Om Yadasya Karmano Atyariricham Yadvanyunamiha Karam Agnishta Swishta Krit Vidyat Sarvam Swishtam Suhutam Karotu Me Agnaye Swishtakrite Subhutahute Sarvaprayashchita Bhutinam Kamanam Samadhayitre Sarvanah Kama Samadhaya Swaha. Idamagnaye Swishtakrite Idannamama. Yeah, offer it with Swaha. Next is the silent Ahuti. We will chant Prajapati in our mind. Om. Only ghee offering. Swaha. Idam Prajapataye Tannamama. Next is the Purnahuti. Final 3 oblations. We will offer Samagri as well. Yeah, we all. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. No. Little bit. Yeah, I meant that everybody will. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. So now it's blessings for Yajman, taking care of the time. So Yajman family, please join your hands, close your eyes, have your wishes and your prayers in your mind. And everybody else except the Yajmans, please stand up and give your blessings to the Yajman family and repeat after me. Om Satyaha Santu सफलाः सन्तु पूर्णाः सन्तु यजमानानां कामाः. O God, by your grace, by your blessings, may the Yajmans be blessed with their they are blessed with happiness, endurance, zeal to complete their missions. May they are blessed with auspicious life, long life, and whatever capabilities they are short of, may they be blessed with that. Om Swastihi. Om Swastihi. Om Swastihi. Now you all can take your seats, and now over to the next program. Ananya.
Namaste everyone. Welcome to Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple Sunday services. Thanks Subhashni ji, Jyoti ji and Jay ji for being Yajamans today. And we wish belated happy birthday to Jyoti ji who celebrated her birthday in the month of May. And Jay also. Thanks Ananya ji for leading this Deva Yajna. And happy Independence Day to all of you. And I welcome all of Jyoti ji's friends and relatives who came first time to the Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple. Welcome. And thanks Jyoti ji for inviting them for this auspicious day. And I also welcome Dr. Arvind Gupta, who came first time to the Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple. He's an active member who moved from Valdosta to Atlanta, and he is a past president of GAPI. Aarti Pandey? Okay. And of course, Neeraji and Mataji. Now it's time for bhajans. I invite Jyoti's aunt, Rama Srivastava ji, to present a bhajan.
Namaste to everybody. This is my mother, Rama Srivastava, and I am Ritu Srivastava. We are Jyoti's friends. And आज जो भजन हम गा रहे हैं वो मैंने मम्मी की स्कूल में सीखा था. मम्मी ने 14 साल तक गरीब बच्चों को फ्री एजुकेशन दिया है. और ये भजन मैंने सबसे पहले वही सुना था और शायद आप लोग के स्कूल में भी ये भजन चलता होगा एज अ प्रेयर. सो आई वुड इनवाइट यू एंड मम्मी दैट वी शुड सिंग अलोंग. वी विल डबल अप एंड यू शुड प्लीज सिंग अलोंग. एंड ठीक है मम्मी, शुरू करें. मालिक तेरे बंदे हम ऐसे हो हमारे करम. नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम. ऐ मालिक तेरे बंदे हम ऐसे हो हमारे करम. नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम, बड़ा कमजोर है आदमी, अभी लाखों है इसमें कमी, बड़ा कमजोर है आदमी, अभी लाखों है इसमें कमी, पर तू जो खड़ा है दयालु बड़ा, तेरी कृपा से धरती थमी, पर तू जो खड़ा है दयालु बड़ा, तेरी कृपा से धरती थमी, दिया तूने हमें जब जन्म, तू ही झेलेगा हम सबके गम, दिया तूने हमें जब जन्म, तू ही झेलेगा हम सबके गम, नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे, ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम, ये अंधेरा ना छा रहा, तेरा इंसान घबरा रहा, ये अंधेरा ना छा रहा, तेरा इंसान घबरा रहा, हो रहा बेखबर कुछ ना आता नजर, हो रहा बेखबर कुछ ना आता नजर, सुख का सूरज छिपा जा रहा है, तेरी रोशनी में जो दम, तू अमावस को कर दे पूनम, है तेरी रोशनी में जो दम, तू अमावस को कर दे पूनम, नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे, ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम, ऐ मालिक तेरे बंदे हम, ऐसे हो हमारे करम, नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे, ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम, जब जुल्मों का हो सामना, तब तू ही हमें थामना, जब जुल्मों का हो सामना, तब तू ही हमें थामना, वो बुराई करे हम भलाई करे, नहीं बदले की हो भावना, वो बुराई करे हम भलाई करे, नहीं बदले की हो भावना, बढ़ उठे प्यार का हर कदम, और मिटे बैर का ये भरम, नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे, ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम, ऐ मालिक तेरे बंदे हम, ऐसे हो हमारे करम, नेकी पर चले और बदी से डरे, ताकि हंसते हुए निकले दम, ऐ मालिक तेरे बंदे हम।
धन्यवाद रितु जी and Rama Srivastava ji for a good devotional song and prarthana in that song. We are asking Bhagavan to do anything nice for us. And now I request another bhajan by Piyush Khare ji. He is one of Jyoti's relative. He is by profession professor. I request you for the other bhajan.
My introduction is myself Piyush Khare. I'm from Allahabad or Prayagraj of India. I'm just a visitor for 2 months here. So भजन जो होते हैं वो एक्चुअली ईश्वर की स्तुति, राम कृष्ण शिव की स्तुति या उनसे प्रार्थना के रूप में ही किया जाता है ट्रेडिशनली। लेकिन मेरा गीत जो है वो इस तरह का है कि जिसमें इस तरह की बातें स्तुति या प्रार्थना तो नहीं है, लेकिन जो फिलॉसफी सीधी फिलॉसफी और सिंपल ज्ञान है उससे अगर आप कोई फॉलो करता है तो ईश्वर के समीप पहुंच सकता है। जैसा कि अभी आचार्य जी ने बताया कि और दयानंद जी का भी मंत्र में होता है इनका अर्थ कि जीवन किस तरह के यापन करना चाहिए, अपने ईश्वर की को याद जरूर करे लेकिन माया मोह से मुक्ति हो और कोई ऐसी चीज ना हो कि जो ईश्वर से अलग हो, ईश्वरी गुणों से अलग हो। कुछ इसी तरह का भाव लेकर ये गीत है। सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई, सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई, मेरे राम तेरा नाम एक साचा दूजा न कोई, सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई, जीवन आनी जानी छाया, जीवन आनी जानी छाया, झूठी माया झूठी काया, फिर काहे को सारी उमरिया, फिर काहे को सारी उमरिया, पाप की गठरी ढोई, सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई, बाहर की तू माटी फाके, बाहर की तू माटी फाके, मन के भीतर क्यों ना झांके, उजले मन पर उत्मान किया, उजले तन पर मान किया और मन की मैल न धोई, सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई। ना कुछ तेरा ना कुछ मेरा, ना कुछ तेरा ना कुछ मेरा, ये जग जोगी वाला फेरा। राजा हो या रंक सभी का, राजा हो या रंक सभी का, अंत एक सा होई, सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई। मेरे राम तेरा नाम, एक साचा दूजा न कोई, सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई।
Namaste, Piyush. Thank you, Piyush ji. It was a very melodious bhajan. We are glad to have you here today. And if you don't mind, if you cannot sit on the chair, who cannot sit on the floor, people who can sit on the floor, please offer the chairs to the people who is looking for chairs. So now I will pass over to this mic to one of my one president of this temple, Savita ji. She will introduce today's speakers. Over to you, Savita ji.
Give us 2 minutes to settle in, and from this area we can all. Can we get silence, please? Can we get silence, please? And requesting everyone to put your cell phones on the silent mode as well. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. It's so good to see a somewhat full temple after all this COVID. I think most of it is behind us. And happy 4th to all of you. I just want to say over the last 2-3 days, some of us here at the temple were very blessed to refresh our idea of Vedic concepts and to refamiliarize ourselves with why we do what we do from a spiritual standpoint. And it is entirely our good fortune that we had Acharya Ashish ji, who is our mentor and guiding spirit, to be here at the temple, to hold our hand and make us ask logical questions about what we believe in, why we believe in this, and so on. So at the end of it, he sprung upon us that you've got to now get up on stage and speak what you understood. And this put many of us in a position outside our comfort zone. But young and old, I think people stepped up to the challenge. So he's selected a few of us in the interest of time to come here and talk about what they learned in their own words. So to kick this off, it's going to be brief. I want you all to give your full attention to this, listen and encourage the speakers, some of whom are taking the stage, haven't taken the stage too often. So I'll start this off by welcoming Himanjali ji, who's also our Vice President, to speak about Yajna. Let the speakers introduce themselves, their own topics, and give us the synopsis. So we just performed Yajna, and she'll elaborate on that. Himanjali ji.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about Yajna. We have been learning many things from Acharya. So, Yajna is Sreshtatam Karma. We have learned sloka from the Vedas. So, what is Yajna? Yajna means the virtual actions which are done by the body, the mind, and the actions. Altogether is called Yajna. This is so benevolent act and so sacred act which benefits ourselves and the benefit of the society. So for example, if you see, take the mother, she carries the baby, delivers, nurtures, and works hard for the upliftment and growth of that baby throughout her life. This is a kind of yajna. So basically, yajna is doing the service for the sake of the others. So that's called yajna. This yajna is basically of 5 types. So these 5 types are, I can see, explained through over this thing here. These are called Panchamaha yajnas. This is our topic today. The very first one is called Brahma yajna. And the second one you can see here, Deva yajna. And the third one you can see here, Pitri yajna. And the fourth one you can see here, Atiti yajna. And the fifth one is Barivaisha Deva yajna. So the Brahma yajna. So what's called Brahma yajna? We have to realize the God and we experience the God. We adore the creation of this God. We meditate upon Him and we experience the God's presence. That's called Brahma yajna. For that, we need to do the meditation and we do the Sandhyopasana. The example for this, the Sandhyopasana has to be done in the morning and in the evening, the dawn and the dusk. So Sandhyopasana was done in the ancient times. We can learn from the Vedas. Hanumanji was searching for Sita and he has a very good identification when Aryaputri, they come out and do the Sandhyopasana. So he was searching for that kind of lady and then he could find Sita Devi. Sandhyopasana is basically the prayer and giving thanks to God for all this creation and creation of our body. That's Brahma yajna and reading the good books and all. And then second one, you can see in the picture, that is Deva yajna. Deva yajna, which we have seen already, the physical yajna, which all the family members and with the satsang, you all have sat together and did with the harmoniously. So that is Deva yajna, and we will go in detail about that later. And the third one is, you can see Pitri yajna. I'm so happy to see you here. So many parents and the children, they have come with lots of affection. The children have brought the parents, and I can see Mrs. Rama Srivastava when she was singing, and see the contentment and happiness in her face, in mother's face. So that's the Pitri yajna that she's doing. I can see many families over here. Meera Balji, I can see Vishnuji, I can see many families over here. So they take care of the parents. So this is basically of 2 types. How do we take care of them? The basic necessities, that is Shraddha, of their food, their conveyance, their medication, and we all need to take care of them. The love and affection, that's the moral obligation too. And the second one is Tarpan. So bring the contentment and happiness in their lives. That is the Pitriyajna. For example, you can take this example as Shravan Kumar from the ancient times, the story, how he has taken care of the parents. And the third one we are talking about is, the fourth one is talking about is Atithi Yajna. Atithi Yajna is, these are the people who do a lot of service for the society, just like Acharya's, Pandits, seers and sages. So they do sacrifice their lives and do a lot of service for the propagation of the dharma. So such people have to be honored and respected and taken care of. So that is called Atithi Yajna. And when we protect them, they will have a long life and do more benefit for the society. So that is Atithi Yajna. And the last one is Bali Vaishya Devi Yajna. It is, Bali means a part of your hard-earned money will be spent for the others. That is Bali Vaishya Devi Yajna, taking care of the poor people who are bigger than you and taking care of the birds and animals. That's our responsibility. They have their own capability and they have their own liberty to live. So we need to protect. So these are all the 5 yajnas. And now I would like to go to the second one, that is Deva Yajna, which we have observed Ananyaji has performed so well. So this Deva Yajna is also, there is an example, like when Lord Rama was leaving to the forest, he was waiting for his mom to say that he was leaving to the forest. So Kaushalya was doing yajna at the time, and he waited, and once she completed her yajna, she came and then he told her and he left to the forest. So those are the examples that people were doing Deva Yajna. So this Deva Yajna is basically how it is done. So it is like a copper inverted vessel will be taken, the pyramid kind of thing, inverted pyramid, and in this, the herbal sticks, wooden sticks were used, just like ficus and mango and other kind of trees. They will be burned. Why they are chosen means they produce less amount of carbon monoxide. So, and we take herbal spices to put as oblations, and we take cow ghee in this for the offerings. So, and all the family, the Vedic chantings, we do this Deva Yajna. So by doing this Deva Yajna, several aromatic compounds are released from this yajna, and there are several experiments which are done. What are the benefits of this Deva Yajna? So now that we have discussed about the Brahma Yajna, we realized about the God, and then we do help for the purification of the environment, and for the medicinal purpose also, we are supposed to do this yajna. So how do we purify the environment? We just do sometimes plantation we do, and we use less plastics and all this. And Deva Yajna is the most wonderful basic physical and chemical phenomena that everyone has to do in the morning and in the evening, if possible, at least one time. So in Deva Yajna, these are the things that we are using. Several compounds are released from this, and several experiments were done. What are these aromatic gases which are releasing? What are the benefits of this? So there are some the results which show that the pleasing aromas that are influencing are esters. Esters, they control the hypothalamus, which is present in the brain, and produce the hormones and neurotransmitters by giving the response in olfactory system. There are several hydrocarbons which are releasing, like ethyl alcohol, methyl alcohol, and acetaldehyde, formaldehyde. So many chemical compounds have been releasing, and they will work with health management. And essential oils are released. That's called hydrophobic acid. That's good for the health. And then, as we all know, formaldehyde in a very less amount it is released with the water vapor, and that's good for antimicrobial. Aldehyde, good for the as a disinfectant. And we use camphor in the oven. It is used as a filing agent. It removes the foul smell and cleans the breathing system who inhale the fumes. And the people who are sitting surrounding the oven cord, they get elevated. And that has some little germicidal action too. And one more thing which is released is lauric acid. Lauric acid is very active and good for inflammation, acne inflammation. And esters are released, like caprylic acid, they release organic acid into the smoke. which is good. And there are some ethers, they are released, that is called lirio resinol beta dimethyl ether. That will reduce the breast cancer, which is a very good news for the ladies, which has anti-lung cancer activities and reduce the chemotherapy side effects. And 2,4-bisphenols. These are the antioxidants which are released for agriculturally, we can control the fungus, reduce the spore germination in the fungus, which is very good for the farmers, those who are cultivating. And cow ghee we are using, that will protect the respiratory system and helps for the removal of blood clots and bacterial infections in nose and lungs. So with the gas chromatography and mass spectroscopy, these are the results that were proved and published the papers. So everyone has to do this yajna. If you all come to know, if somebody says that there is yajna is going on, you should go and attend. You don't need any invitation. If you are going for marriage, you need an invitation. If you come to know there is yajna going on, you can go and attend and come to the temple, bring your parents. We really love it, the way you have come here. Please continue, keep doing it. So just follow after me. Krinvanto Vishwamaryam. Vishwamaryam. Make the world noble. Make the world noble. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so Himanjali is a science teacher and she delivered it like a science teacher. Thank you so much. So the gist of it that I understood was if you put chili pepper into the fire, the aroma spreads everywhere and makes people cough. Similarly, if you put aromatic and useful things into the fire, it atomizes and that reaches a wider audience and it probably has beneficial effects on the environment. And besides the symbolic aspect of the yajna. Thank you so much, Himanjali. Next, I want to mix this up, male, female, child. So we'll have our young adult, Havishkrit Arya, on the stage and have him explain his concepts, explain his subject and his concepts. Thank you, Havishkrit.
Namaste everyone. So I'm a youth volunteer here at the temple, and today my topic is going to be about, is the soul a part of God? So all of us, we are souls, and then of course we know God, the Almighty, who rules over all, right? Now, at first glance, we think, of course, soul must be part of God because it says God is omnipresent, which means God is present everywhere. If he's present everywhere, then he's also present inside my body, which means that me, the soul, and God are present at that same place. So if they're present at the same place, then the soul must be part of God, right? Well, this podium is present at the same place as God. The stage is present at the same place as God, doesn't mean it's a part of God, right? To clarify this, let's say I dove into a swimming pool, right? There's water in front of me, there's water behind me, above me, below me. If I'm stupid enough to try to breathe inside the water, there's water inside of me. However, my body is still different from the water. The water is still different from my body. Just because those two are existing in almost that same place doesn't mean that they are part of each other. Now, while I move on to the next part, I have these two pieces of cotton. I'd like you to start passing one piece of cotton backwards in a straight line. And if you could start passing this piece of cotton backwards towards that side, okay? So maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe the soul is a part of God in the way that a droplet of water is a part of the ocean. A droplet of water, many droplets of water come together to make that ocean, right? Well, let's look at that. I have here a bowl of water. Now, all of you in the back won't be able to see, but whatever, I'll put it here, right? So let's say I take a drop of water out of this bowl. I think I'm loud enough, it's fine. I take a drop of water out of this bowl, and this drop of water is cold on my hands, right? So is the bowl of water. The water that is on my hands, it's clear. So is the water in the bowl. the droplet of water on my hands is made of H2O, and so is the droplet of water, so is the bowl of water. They're all made of H2O. What I'm trying to say here is the droplet of water on my hand and the water in the bowl have the same exact qualities because they are the same substance. Similarly, if the soul is a part of God, like a droplet of water is a part of the ocean, then they must be of the same substance, meaning they must have the same qualities. Well, God, as I said, is omnipresent. Am I omnipresent? Are you omnipresent? No, you're here. I'm here. We're all in one place. Thank you. God is all-pervading. He pervades everything. God is inside everything, outside everything, surrounding everything. I'm here in this one body. God is all blissful. He is always the ultimate bliss. If I fall off the bed one day, my whole week gets ruined. I can't be all blissful, right? What I'm trying to say here is me, the soul, and God, we have different qualities, meaning that we cannot be part of that same substance. The soul cannot be a part of God like a droplet of water in the ocean. However, there is one way in which we can say that the soul is a part of God. Now, you all passed that piece of cotton around, right? In your hands, that piece of cotton felt dry. It felt light, like a piece of cotton is supposed to feel, right? Well, now I'm wetting this piece of cotton in this bowl of water. As you can see here, the cotton is inside the water. The water is all the way inside the cotton, through and through, right? However, the cotton is not part of the water. The water is not part of the cotton. They are two different things. I can take this cotton right out and it's completely different, right? Now, I want you guys to take this piece of cotton, pass it in the same path backward, and pass it in that same path towards that way. Feel it. Does it feel any different from that first piece of cotton? Let's see, let's ask Nidan. Why does this piece of cotton feel so much different? What's different?
It's wet now.
It's wet? Anything else? It's heavier, yes. Wetness is not a quality of cotton, is it? The first piece of cotton was dry. Heaviness is not a quality of cotton. We say cotton is light, it's supposed to be light. That piece of cotton got heavy because it was within that water. While that cotton was within that water, it retained some of the qualities of that water, even though they are different substances. So, even though the soul is not part of God, when we are in the deepest state of meditation, when we are in samadhi, when we are trying to be one with God, we all say that, right? Try to be one with God. What does that mean? When we are one with God, then we can feel some of those qualities of God that we may not have. However, we retain them for that small amount of time. God is blissful. In that meditation state, in that samadhi state, for that short period of time, we feel that bliss. God is free from miseries. We feel free from miseries. God is fearless. In that short period of time, we feel fearless. Now, after a while, what's going to happen to those wet pieces of cotton? The atmosphere is going to take its toll and the water is going to evaporate. The cotton is going to become dry again. Similarly, those wet pieces of cotton get dry, and us, when we are not in that meditation state, while we are walking around in our daily lives, we don't feel those qualities of God anymore. However, when we go into that state of samadhi, then and only then we can feel that bliss of God. So in that way, you can say that the soul is a part of God. Now, as I conclude, I'd like to say good luck to everyone on their spiritual journeys, on their journey towards becoming bliss. I hope all of you aspire and eventually become this wet piece of cotton. Thank you.
What do you all say? This is supposed to be about the speech and not the speaker, but my God, give it up to this representative of the next gen. Amazing, wonderfully delivered. Thank you so much. Next, I invite Sriramji to the stage. Sriramji is actually a descendant of Indian immigrants settled in Guyana, and it's very clear that he's a serious and sincere seeker, because who else would be celebrating their July 4th weekend with us? Come on, Sriramji.
Om Bhuva Swaha. Namaste. By way of acknowledgement, I repeat again that mostly this information that we share today is from a lecture series given by Acharya Ashish Ji. We listened earlier to a description of Yajna, and we listened earlier also to a description of soul. And I understand these things, and I have been doing Yajna, but there are times that I get confused. And I ask myself, why is it that I do Yajna, and I understand that I am a soul, and I understand that I am separate from all of this, but there is still chaos in the world? And Acharya Ji gives us some pointers. So in school, we learn, generally, we can divide things into animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. But today, for our discussion, we will go one step further and use the animal kingdom and separate animals and put man on a different category. And when we look in trying to analyze the question, we look at the plant kingdom and animal kingdom minus humans, we cannot decipher any, we cannot perceive any kind of chaos. For the most part, whatever change there is imperceptible and mostly environmental. Whatever chaos there is only amongst us human beings. And so naturally the question comes, what is it that is different between animals and man? And so one of the differences is pointed out. One difference is that man was endowed at the beginning of creation by God, Parampita Parameshwar, with the freedom of choice. And God, in his magnanimity, by his grace, because he's all wise, he did this in previous creation and the one before this and the one before that. And he will do it again and again in the next creation. Give unto us his sons and daughters an instruction booklet divided into 4 chunks: the Rig, the Psalm, Yajur, and the Tadva. He gave us those instructions in 20,000 mantras and says, here, my child, here are the instructions. Pattern your life and live accordingly, and there will not be any chaos, put it in a simplistic way. If we peruse the mantras, those mantras, somewhere along the line, we can call the information that our innate nature is dharmic. One of the description is that dharma means your nature. And so the dharma of mankind is humanity. And because we have used our freedom of choice to separate ourselves from what is dharmic, and we go on a path of adharma or unrighteousness, chaos ensues. We see that in the Mahabharata, for example, when the Kauravas and the Pandavas were being instructed by Acharya Dronacharya, sorry, they all received the same instructions. The same instructions was given to all of them. And yet Duryodhana, when he was asked, you are from a good family, you had the right instructions, and yet your behavior is thus. He replied simply, I know the difference between dharma, and I also know very well the difference in adharma, but I choose to listen to, I can't help it, but behave like this because I choose to. And again, the mantras, the 20,000 mantras that God gave in the Yajurveda, 40th chapter, popularly known as the Ishopanishad, it is said, Ye kecha atma hanojana, those who stifle or do not listen to the inner voice of consciousness, they stifle the voice of the soul. Surely they go, abhikachanti, asurya nama teloka, and dena tamasaha. They go to those regions that is where the asuras live. So today, my friends, in this short example, I want to invite you and I want to ask you very humbly, if you can and you're brave enough to close your eyes with me and tell God that, God, I am tired of living this life that is Preya Marg oriented, and I want to go on the Shreya Marg. And God responds, oh my son, oh Vidi, I sent another of my son, one of my favorites. You know him as Maharshi Dayanand. And he gave you a set of instructions. He gave you several instructions, but one of them, the Sanskara Vidhi, that he codified a system of worship called Havan. And in there, he described, again fittingly, coming from the Ishopanishad, that we ask to be taken away from Kupata and instead be led onto Supata. So if you can, with me, Om Agni Naya Supata Rae Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyudhyasmaj Joranameno Bhuishtante Namauktim Vidhema. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you for that, Sri Ramji. I'm sure it touched many people and gave them food for thought. Next, I invite a rising senior from Cornell University to share her perspective. First, clarify your topic, Priyanka, and give your words. And that will be the last of the speeches from the camp participants.
Namaste, everyone. My name is Priyanka, and yeah, I'm a rising senior at Cornell, and it's nice to come back home for the breaks and just be reminded of my own culture. And thank you, Acharya-ji, for hosting this camp, because I feel like it was a good way to reconnect with my culture and kind of what I've been raised with over the last few years. So yeah, we were all given a topic to come up and talk about. So it was almost like a public speaking event, in addition to like a spiritual camp. But I was just given the topic of the existence of God and proof of existence. And this was really interesting to me because we've all been raised, by our parents and our family members telling us that, there's a God, you should always pray to God, to seek blessings and success for life. But I never really questioned it and, thought, is there really like some higher power, above myself? So this was a really good chance to kind of go into it. And I don't know if I fully can explain it or understand it, but I definitely did get the opportunity to question my beliefs and kind of balance it with the Vedic principles. So yeah, I never really questioned anything, but as I'm on the pre-med track, so as I was taking more and more science classes, it seemed like everything could be explained by reason or fact. It seemed like there was an explanation for everything, and what there wasn't an explanation for, there was some, scientist who's probably working on it. But when I first took a neurobiology course called Neural Basis of Decision Making, we talked a lot about the different parts of the brain and what actually controls our decision making. So, there's like the amygdala, which has to do with fear and aggression, and then the prefrontal cortex controls judgment, planning, and executive control. So in general, it seemed like there was some neural pathway for everything. But then we started talking a little bit more about free will because, yeah, we're able to make all these decisions and there's parts of the brain that can, kind of outline a pathway for it. But who is the I that's actually making that decision? There's no place in the brain that can directly, separate one identity from the other. And so that's where I started to question, there has to be some higher power and some, more complex design to everything. And then we started talking about, bacteria. They too can make decisions. So there's something called chemotaxis, where based on the environment they're in, they can either be repelled to negative environments or attracted to positive environments. So does that mean that they're conscious? So that's where there starts to be like a more blurred line between our understanding of these things. And I started looking at some of Arya Samaj's principles on it. And this is a little bit of, what they have to say. Because how could just the Big Bang Theory explain, intelligence and the thinking capability of humans, or, compassion in animals, and even the absolute regularity of the sunrise and the sunset? It seems we can trace like one, scientific pathway to it, but then what actually explains that? So looking at Arya Samaj, the creation is so perfectly, designed, like the oceans, the universe, everything in general. Even if we look at our phone and our, just any kind of thing that we've created, it's not able to, if you disassembled all the parts, it can't automatically just come back together. So that shows that everything has to have, some creator and a creative intelligence. So these were some of the inferences that proved God's existence, and I'm still trying to understand it. But it seems, like I said, there's always a direct cause for some phenomena, but we can't completely explain what caused that. And for those of you who say, well, you can't really see God, one of the explanations we talked about in the camp is you can't also see your ancestors, like your grandfather, your great-grandfather, but you know that they existed. So in the same way, even though you can't directly see God, it doesn't mean that that presence isn't there. And finally, the Arya Samaj talks about the inner voice, and the inner voice also can kind of give some evidence to a higher power, because, for example, we're able to feel things like love, and there's no center in the brain that can control love. So to me, that's another piece of evidence for some kind of higher intelligence. And ultimately, I see like science may not be able to explain everything. There definitely is like a lot of work being done, but I think this camp and this topic just gave me an opportunity to make sense of everything for myself, because I think that's what we should all do and not just be blind followers. Actually take the time to like look at everything that's presented to you and see if it makes sense to you, because that's only when you'll be able to live a more like fulfilling life. We should try not to live in ignorance. So ultimately, I think this camp has allowed me to do that and get closer to understanding even a little bit. It's just such a complex topic, and you can go down so many different rabbit holes with it. But yeah, definitely take the time to understand it. And I think some of the Arya Samaj principles do make sense, and I'll continue working on it. But yeah, thank you.
1 second, let me get my bearings together. Thank you for that, Priyanka. And that is indeed the point. The point is not to follow everything that's handed down to you without questioning, but to get a deeper understanding with logic. And that was the point of this camp. And you can see people came at various levels as they started this camp. And if nothing, I think it has accomplished the purpose of making us better questioners. And I have to say that without Acharya Ashishji's guidance and encouragement and prodding us to question why, and getting to the root of things, we wouldn't have made much sense, and we would have maybe thought, maybe this is not best investment of time. But at the end of it, and the camp is still ongoing, it has ignited in everybody a quest for more knowledge. With that being said, I invite our final speaker, Acharya Ashish Darshanacharya. He is a renowned meditation and Vedic yoga teacher. We have been seeing him from the very beginning, several years ago. He was like one of us, initially trained as an engineer. And then he left all that to explore Vedic concepts from a position of logic. And in doing this, he has become a master at explaining these things very simply. And he has dedicated his life to serve dharma. Acharya's camps and Q&A sessions across the globe, not just in America and India, but across the globe, about meditation, stress-free living, practical things like successful parenting, harmonious relationships, law of karma, various darshanas. All of these have been widely appreciated by masses. No fanfare, just very simple and direct. Acharya is one of the most sought-after speakers for the modern generation. With that, I welcome him to deliver his sermon.
Please close your eyes gently. Sensing your breath, start deep breathing. Inhale deeply. Exhale gradually. Be focused on your breath. Be relaxed. Be relaxed. Be focused on your breath. Gradually make yourself aware of holy presence of Om God, who is giver of this breath, giver of this life, who is dwelling within you. Be with him inside. Stay with him inside. Be relaxed. Now we will recite Om 3 times. Take a deep breath. Om. Experience silence for a while. Now slowly you can open your eyes. Veteran audience, dear friends, brothers and sisters, and beloved children, with the grace of Almighty, we are here to understand reality about ourselves, to understand reality about that divinity which is dwelling within us. We are so fortunate to have this human life. Going through this human life, we go through several questions, several queries, several doubts inside our mind as well. Questions, doubts are the keys, are the doors which helps us to enter in the right plane of the right phase of the knowledge. Doubts are very helping, as well as doubts are the hurdles as well, until and unless not satisfied, not clear. So here in Sunday's series of lectures, we have started a topic to discuss. What are the testing parameters by which we can assess whether a scripture is divine or not? In the society, in our culture, across the world, we hear about so many scriptures: Vedas, Ramayana, Gita, Mahabharata, Purana, Quran, Bible, so many scriptures. We hear about all things. Sometimes a truth seeker becomes confused among all these scriptures, which one should be accepted as a divine scripture? Vedas or Ramayana or Gita or Mahabharata or Quran or Bible. Which one should I accept as a divine scripture? Which should be followed with the utmost devotion and dedication? Sometimes a truth seeker becomes confused. Do you agree with this? That sometimes we think about to whom, to which path, to which teaching should we follow with the full devotion, with the full dedication. So the Arya Samaj is the organization which address all these things with very logical and rational way. This is the platform which invites people to raise questions. As in our school and college days, to go deep in any subject, maybe it science or maybe it not science, in any subject, we know that by asking the questions, by raising the questions, yes, we became able to go deeper in those subjects and we become able to quench our curiosity. In the same way here, what are the testing parameters to assess which scriptures is divine or not? We started this journey last Sunday. And with that start, we discussed whether Om, God, the creator of this universe, is by nature just. By nature, he is just or not. By nature, he is impartial or not. What do you say? Today, this temple is very fortunate to have Jyotiji and her friends and family here. Where is Jyotiji? Okay. But by the grace of Almighty, her friends and family are here. So what do you think about that? By nature, Almighty is just or not? Yes or no? I couldn't hear. Yes or no? By nature, Almighty is just Nyayakari. Just means Nyayakari. Yes or no from that side? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Now I believe you are here. Yes. And up to which time? 25. 3 minutes remaining. Okay. So by nature, Almighty is just, Nyayakari, Pakshapat Rahita. So the question comes, a truth seeker, a logical person, thinks that if he is by nature just, then when he will reveal his divine knowledge, will he be revealing his divine knowledge in the starting of human civilization? Or after passing that human civilization after a length of time, then after he will reveal his knowledge? If he reveals knowledge after the length of duration or time, then a truth seeker can think in this way as well. If he is by nature, he is just, then the human generations, those who were born before the revelation, that will be deprived of that divine knowledge. Then how someone will be able to accept him just by nature? Are you getting me or not? So in this way, by thinking logically and rationally, anyone can come to this conclusion that the divine knowledge will be revealed in the beginning of human civilization. And with the time, generation by generation, it will be passing on. And we are so fortunate and lucky that we have that knowledge. So, if we accept this, then the question will come, in the divine knowledge, can we get any kind of human history or not? In the divine knowledge, if it is revealed in the beginning of human civilization, would we be able to get any kind of human history in it or not? What do you say? Yes or no? Would you be able to get human history in that? Would you be able to get human history in that? Yes or no? I'm not getting what you are saying. Yes or no? No. Why? Because it is revealed in the beginning of human civilization. So how can you get human history and that scripture which is the source of that divine knowledge? Are you getting me or not? So in this way, we try to go deep in every subject, and hopefully you may have observed the presentator who presented their subject with their hard work, with full of dedication and with full of devotion. As a duty, they presented themselves here, and you may have observed in everyone's talk, logical, with rationalizing, they tried their level best to present their topics. So I request you all give a hand of applause for all those presenters. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh.
Before we proceed to meditation, here are some announcements. Acharyaji is teaching his Sankhya Darshan on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's already started like 3 weeks ago. It starts around 8:15 p.m. to 9:30. Sankhya Darshan is one of 6 darshanas written by Maharshi Kapil Rishi, and it talks about Purusha and Paramatma. And so it's a great knowledge we are getting through Acharya-ji. Please take this benefit. And also Acharya-ji is here in Atlanta until July 13th, and he will come back, and he's going to be in September. And Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple is hosting a meditation camp within 1 hour vicinity of Lilman area. So please sign up for meditation. It's a great opportunity to join this meditation camp, and it is under the guidance of Acharya Ashish Ji. You will be completely in silence for 3 days. It's a long weekend, and definitely will get something from this camp. We attended last time when Acharya-ji was here. And also invite Acharya-ji to your houses and host satsangs in your house. We have Acharya-ji's calendar schedule. If you want, we will forward it to you again. And another big event is coming in GAVT. This July 15th, we are hosting a musical concert under guidance of our president, Savita Kutilji. And this is by Dr. Aarti Pandya, who is ophthalmologist. Oh, welcome, Aarti ji. We are glad to have you here today. And she's a practicing ophthalmologist. So please support this event. And the link is, we will forward it to you. The tickets are reasonable at $30. So please attend on July 15th, and details will be given to you. And other announcement is, please be Ejamans for Sunday services. For any occasions in your family, birthdays, wedding anniversaries, your parents, anything, please host or be Yajaman. If you need any details how to be Yajaman, please contact Hemanjali ji or Vishnu ji. We will give all the information. And I want to thank Sarita Singh, who donated water filter in the kitchen. It's a kind of selfless deed. It's called another kind of yajna. Thank you, Sarita ji. And these are the announcements. And now I invite Avishkrut Arya to lead the meditation. You know Avishkrut, how he gave his speech. So no need to introduce him again. Welcome, Avishkrut ji.
So before we begin, is there any adjustments needed for the mic volume, or are we okay? I think we're fine. Oh yeah, so we need to, if we can all get our phones on the silent mode, because there's nothing more distracting in meditation when everyone's silent and you just hear ding, ding. So if you can silence your phone. Don't worry, I won't be using any cotton balls during the meditation. It'll just be speaking. If we're on Zoom, we can stop any multitasking, because meditation is not a multitaskable task, I guess. If we could all sit down and pretend as if you are with us in the temple. So everyone, let us sit straight. Let us close our eyes gently. Relax your face, your neck, and your shoulder. Relax your entire body. Feel the breath going in and out of your nostrils. We will begin by reciting Om 3 times. Let us inhale. Om. Again. Om. One more time. Now, be relaxed, sensing your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You are a pure, eternal soul. Drop all the mental negativities, fear, habit of comparing ourselves, ego, jealousy, anger, grudges, etc. Drop all. The entire world is our family. We must live in harmony with those around us. Once again, let us bring our focus to our breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. We are all pure, eternal souls, sons and daughters of the Divine Mother, God. Now, let us inhale deeply, exhale forcefully, and hold our breath outside to our own comfort. Whenever you are comfortable, you may release the hold and come to normal breathing. Sense your breath inside the nostril. Be focused inside the nostril. Focus on that feeling of breath going in, going out. Omnipresent God is giver of this breath. Accept this. Accept God's holy presence within you. When we feel God within us, we may feel some part of His ultimate bliss. Maintaining the awareness of God's presence, start chanting Om inside yourself, devotionally, at your own pace, at your own comfort. Maintain the awareness of His presence. That God is omnipresent. He is all-pervading. He is within each and every one of us. Feel God within you. Now, let us pray for the welfare of all. May all be happy. May all be healthy. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. We are all children of one divine mother, that Almighty God. We all belong to one family. Feel that oneness with all. Let us feel grateful for this opportunity we got to meditate, to try to feel one with God, to take a break from the rush of life, to let our mind calm down. Feel grateful for this opportunity. Let us prepare ourselves to come out of this meditation practice. Rub your palms, cover your eyes with your palms, and open your eyes within your palms. We will recite Om once, followed by Shanti 3 times. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Please rise for the Neeraj is going to do this.
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट आय जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख विनशे मन का स्वामी दुख विनशे मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी स्वामी शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी तुम बिन और न दूजा प्रभु बिन और न दूजा आस करूं मैं जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता स्वामी तुम रक्षा करता मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी कृपा करो भरता ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके प्राणपति स्वामी सबके प्राणपति किस विध मिलूं दयाल किस विध मिलूं दयालु ऐसी दो सुमति ओम जय जगदीश हरे दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे अपने हस्त बढ़ाओ अपनी शरण लगाओ द्वार पड़े हैं तेरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे विषय विकार मिटाओ
मेरा, तेरा तुझको अर्पण, तेरा तुझको समर्पण, क्या लागे मेरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, आर्य जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
शांति पाठ। ओम द्यौ शांतिरन्तरिक्षं शांति पृथिवी शांतिरापः शांतिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः शान्तिः। Oh God, by your grace the celestial regions be peaceful, the space be peaceful, the vegetation and medicinal plants be peaceful. The entire universe be conducive to peace and prosperity. May that peace be with us. May there be cosmic peace, physical and spiritual peace. Bhojan mantra. Om Annapate Annasyano Deyanami Vasya Shushmena Prabhakaram Tarishauryam No Dehi Dvipade Tatushpade। हे अन्न के स्वामिन प्रभु, आप हमें अन्न दो जो रोग रहित और पुष्टिकारक हो। आप अन्नदाता का कल्याण करो। दो पाए मनुष्यों और चौपाए पशुओं आदि में तेज धारण करो। O Annadata Ishwar, giver of food, kindly provide us with healthy and energy-producing food. Grant serenity to those who give food and charity. May all living beings be blessed with energy-giving food. Jai Ghosh. जो बोले सो भय, वैदिक धर्म की जय। मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री रामचंद्र जी की जय। योगेश्वर श्री कृष्ण चंद्र महाराज की जय। गुरुवर स्वामी बिरजानंद जी की जय। महर्षि स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती की जय। संसार के सभी श्रेष्ठ महापुरुषों की जय। संसार की सभी विदुषी नारियों की जय। आज के आनंद की जय। आज के यजमान की जय। आदि समाज अमर रहे, वेद की ज्योति जलती रहे, ओम का झंडा ऊंचा रहे। वैदिक ध्वनि। वैदिक अभिवादन सबको सादर नमस्ते।
Thank you very much for joining. Please join us for the prasad, and we will need few volunteers to help clean up this area. Okay, Savita, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say a few words of
I also want to welcome Rishi Chawla ji and Bhabi ji who have come to us to the temple after a couple of years, 3 or 4 years. Thank you for joining. Please take the arati as well. Please do not forget to take the arati. Thank you. Okay, need some volunteers to help clean up this temple area. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining online.
Thank you, online community. Thank you so much for joining. We are closing this session now. Appreciate your presence. Namaste.